Hello and welcome back to another crafty tutorial. My name is Archisha and today I will be showing you how to make 4 cards out of just one stamp set. The stamp set that we'll be using today, which is like the superstar of today's video, is Love You Loads by Craftangles. Let's start with the first card. The first card uses the technique of repetitive stamping, and while I was stamping repetitively, I tried and followed the colors of the rainbow, but yet very pastel rainbowy colors. So I'm starting with the solid stamp of love and I'm just measuring out the spaces where I would like it to be stamped repetitively, and I want them to be equidistant. So I'm just trying to work out the math. The first ink that I will be using is the peeled paint Distress Oxide ink by Rangers. I will just show you the first kind of stamping that is needed, and I think the rest of the process is pretty self-explanatory. I'll just let you know the colors that I'm using. So using peeled paint, I have stamped love twice at the very top of my cardstock, which is the dual textured white cardstock by Craftangles. The next step is to nicely clean the stamp before we move on to the next color. Now I am moving my cardstock in my stamping tool. I'm not moving the stamp. I'm keeping the stamp stationary and just moving my cardstock by 1/2 inch and continuing with the next color. That's it. The next color that I'm going to use is mustard seed, and I will be just repeating these 3 steps over and over again. Stamp twice, clean my stamp set, move my cardstock by 1/2 inch and stamp with the next color. After mustard seed, I am using ripe persimmon oxide ink. And the next color is aged mahogany. So you see I'm using the usual rainbow colors like green, yellow, orange and red, but I'm not using the brighter version of those colors, but rather the more subtle colors from the same color family. After aged mahogany, I'm going to stamp with seedless preserves. And the last color on the spectrum is faded jeans. And the panel of our card is ready, and I absolutely love the rainbow colors over here. Next, I'm going to add another sentiment from the same stamp set, which says "You Loads." So the entire card will read "Love You Loads," and there is loads of love on the card. Okay, so I'm going to gold heat emboss the sentiment on some black Craftangles cardstock. Trim it down and add it to my panel. I'm adding it in the middle but in the lower region of my card panel. And now all that I'm going to do is embellish it. And for a change, I'm not using round sequins for this card. I think probably the first time I'm using floral sequins on my cards, and it was a very nice Hawaiian kind of vibe that my card started giving. So I really like that. And apart from that, I'm also adding some dots using the Morning Dew Nuvo Crystal Drops by Tonic Studios. And the last step to complete this card is to fix that panel on a note card. Now usually I add my Nuvo drops after I have fixed it on the note card, but I did it before, so I'm carefully pressing my panel with the back of my scissors so that I don't smudge any of those Nuvo crystals. And that's it, the card is ready. The second card for today is a mini card, and for this one we'll be doing some ombre stamping. Again, I'm using the solid love stamp from the same stamp set, and I'm going to first work with the letters L and O. I am only halfway stamping it with the ink spiced marmalade, and where the ink finishes, I'm just trying to soften the harsh lines with a tissue, and I'm just going to stamp the half of the letters L and O. On the lower half, I'm stamping it with some candied apple, again repeating the same process of softening the edges and then completing both the letters, that is L and O. And you see how we have created a seamless orange to red ombre over here. Now I'm moving on to the last two letters, that is V and E. And I'm just going to repeat the same process but with different colors, that is first candied apple and second walnut stain. So the ombre is from red to brown. Now my favorite step, fuzzy cut out these letters. I'm going to leave a very thin outline around all the letters so that it looks like it has an outline of white around it. And for the center of my O, I'm first going to create a very light line with a pencil and cut out the center using my paper cutter. For the mini card, the additional sentiment that I'm going to add is scenting, and it is from the same stamp set, and I've stamped it in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. For my card panels, I have cut a square out of some aqua colored cardstock and a piece of vellum which is a little smaller than the aqua square, and both have stitched details. Now I'm going to start building this card. I have got some foam tape behind my letters and I'm going to start sticking the letters directly onto the vellum piece. Once my letters are stuck, I'm going to add the sentiment sending in between, and then this entire vellum panel goes onto the aqua colored square panel. Now right now I was feeling like something is missing, so I decided to add a bow between L and O, and I think that looks really cute. Now I'm adding the entire aqua panel onto my note card, and finally adding some drops using the English Mustard Nuvo Crystal Drops by Tonic Studios, and highlighting my sending with some Morning Dew clear Nuvo drops. And that completes the second card. The third card for today is a shaker card with a clean and simple look. I think this was the easiest of all the cards. I'm going to first stamp with the outline stamp of this stamp set, which is of the word love, and I'm stamping it with a very light colored ink because I am eventually going to cut out the words so that it forms a window on my card panel. Next, I'm applying some glue at the back and attaching a piece of acetate for the window of my shaker. Now that my acetate is in place and the window is created, I am creating a well for my shaker elements. I have got the foam tape in 2 layers around the word love, and I've applied some anti-static so that my sequins move around freely. And I've got this combination of all fall colors like green, yellow, red and orange. And I'm attaching a white panel at the back to complete the shaker window. I am additionally going to add some die cut clouds on the top and below my shaker window, and everything is in white. Okay, so it's like a very clean and simple look and white on white look with the vibrant shaker window in the middle. I've got the entire panel on a note card and the card is ready. Now let's start with the last card for today. Like the previous card was a white on white kind of card, this is also a very monochromatic card with gold details. Along with gold, I'm using this purple plum kind of color. I don't know what is the exact name for this one. And I'm going to emboss everything on it. So first I'm going to start with embossing the word love. Now this cardstock is a little textured, so with my Versamark inking, I'm also using my Versamark pen so that I can get into all those nooks and crannies and there are no gaps in my heat embossing. I'm going to heat emboss the word love with a gold embossing powder. Once it is heat embossed, I am going to cut out the sentiment and not really separate all of them, but cut out the gaps in between. I'm keeping the sentiment ready for the card panel by attaching some foam tape behind it. Now let's start working on the entire card panel. I have die cut the same purple colored cardstock with some scalloped edge die, and I'm using the outline stamp of the word love from the same stamp set, and again I'll be heat embossing the entire panel with some gold embossing powder. And finally, the little sub sentiment below the word love is all you need, and I have embossed it again with some gold embossing powder. Placed it right below the bold word love. Now the entire panel goes on a note card created out of the dual textured Craftangles white cardstock. And I am finishing the card with some gold sequins here and there. Now the color of the card looks a little different because I was shooting the video at night, but the images that follow after this video do better justice to this card, and I think it looks so royal and it's very different from what I usually create, so I was very proud of this project. So those were all the 4 cards for today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Do let us know in the comment section if this video inspires you to push one particular stamp set to create multiple cards. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and you can follow me as well at kenchi.school. Bye!